From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big Saturday afternoon's LALATE here with your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. Incredible great news came yesterday as 7 members of a major subcommittee that would write the multiple stimulus checks writes the president a letter saying they're going to put multiple stimulus checks in there. Incredible great news. In a week in which multiple stimulus checks got great news one after another. I'll go over the incredible details in this breaking news report. We'll go over how much you're going to get in the fourth stimulus check and those monthly stimulus checks starting in July, how you'll receive them. Incredible details across the board. Then we cut to the breaking great news about fifth stimulus happening this fall. That is the raising up of your SSI, SSDI, Social Security, veterans benefits, and more, and the new benchmark that could change your life. Then in the middle of this recording, we go over the great money that's available for you and some land in the mailbox today. It's a big afternoon. I'm excited you're here. Let's get to the breaking details. This is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Exciting, great details about your fourth stimulus check as we have congressional leaders telling Schumer, Pelosi, and Biden they're putting multiple stimulus checks in there, in addition to the people who said it before. So we are getting incredible, great news about your fourth stimulus. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021, we're going over the breaking news, how much you're going to get, and how much it will land in your bank account. Incredible details in this fourth stimulus check update this morning. Then in the second half of the recording, we're going to go over fifth stimulus that heats up in the fall and why the search for that new inflationary rate in the fall could absolutely change your life. For the best. Incredible, great news. Then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money that's landing in your bank account and some of it starting today. How are you? This is Afternoons LALATE. How's the weather where you are? Drop in the comments how it is, where you're watching, and what the weather is. It's currently sunny, as you can tell, here in Los Angeles. Pleasant, a little bit warmer, but still very pleasant, but extremely sunny. Hope it is good weather where you are. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week, financial news network, delivering you breaking live shows in the morning, taped in the afternoons, and overnight feeds. I don't want you to miss a single video, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year, a YouTube record for a reason. Next stop is 1 million. Get us there. Also, like this video. Consider becoming a member also. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Get access to all the bills, which I'm going to go over in this video. Let's get to the breaking news. During the last week, we had initially focused on Jalapal, but now our focuses are expanding because we're getting incredible great news across the board from the House and the Senate when talking about the fourth stimulus check. Let's start about coverage with that fourth stimulus check starting right now. The House proposal written by Jalapal provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. So let's say there were 5 more months left of the pandemic, you would get 5 more months of stimulus checks, then an additional 12. The Senate proposal provides stimulus checks for July to December. If you're in the live chat just after 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, or 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, jump in the live chat and vote House or Senate, but not just yet. Let's see how Jalapal's bill lines up. So Jalapal provides that the House would pay $2,000 the first month, but $1,000 every month thereafter. The Senate amount is unknown, but word on the street is this. Wow, incredible great news. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. That is per individual. Now let's go back and understand why Jalapal's bill may get slightly revised. Because the issue is whether there is a pandemic plus 1 year or we are at the end of the pandemic. If you believe that the pandemic will be over by the time the vote happens in the month of July, then it's important to understand that the House proposal would be 12 months of stimulus checks, not pandemic plus 12 months. And 12 months of stimulus checks from the House members would amount to $13,000, which is about generally where the Senate comes in, just the same amount nearly, just half the amount of time. So now vote, House or Senate in the live chat. 12 months, $13,000 House, or approximately $12,000 in 6 months. Which one do you like, Senate versus House? More about Jalapal in a second, but let's go over who gets it for stimulus, how much it is, and when it would land. First, who gets it? You do. So if you make less than $75,000 a year, single individual, you get the forced stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less per year, you get the forced stimulus check, just double it. And family of 4 or less, you get the forced stimulus check, quadruple it. And yes, it's capped at 4 people in the household. And then finally, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, you get the fourth stimulus check. Fourth stimulus check, no different than third stimulus check. If you got third, you get fourth. The way we go. Next, is it income? No. Is it taxable? No. Is there a different stimulus check for adult dependents as minor dependents or someone else? No. Everyone is getting the same amount. Very easy, breezy, great news. Is it taken out for child support? We don't know just yet. How do they do it? They're currently doing it as a 2-month, 2-step process, currently underway. And there you go. So remember, I'm a reporter. I'm not a legislator. They make the representations, not me. I just report what they're saying. And they represent that the vote would be by July 4th. That means that you would get a check in the month of July for the month of July, in August for the month of August. And away we go. So that breaking news is just jaw-dropping. It's jaw-dropping because we have letter after letter this week that talks about get the vote done, and we are putting multiple stimulus checks in there. I'm going to be going over those letters in just a second, but first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. Get a pen and paper ready because I got thousands of dollars to get for you in this video, and I don't want you to miss any of this money. And we got a 30-minute show in this recording, so stay with me to the very end because there's a lot of money throughout this broadcast. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over that SSI and SSDI, Social Security railroad benefits reform under fifth stimulus that raises your benefits up, but then also applies a benchmark. Now, how much could that benchmark be? Well, we got exciting, great news on that in the second half of this recording. I'm really excited for it. Stay to the second half. Now, let's go back to the big money. Big money that's landing in your bank account, some automatic, some you have to apply for it. I'm really excited for you on this one as well. Let's go over the details. First, third stimulus. When third stimulus was passed earlier this year, I indicated to you that there was tens of thousands of dollars of money available for you. And that, yes, you're going to get a $1,400 third stimulus check, but I also want you to get these $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of other money available for you in the third stimulus package when it lands. And I want you to be a purple hawk, and pounce and get it before the stimulus stampede comes on in and gets it before you. Well, guess what? It's now landing. Time to do your thing, Purple Hawk. The third stimulus allocation for rent is now landing. In the cities, counties, and counties, and states across the country, it's $350 billion landing this week and next week. So go get it. How much can you get? $5,000 for rent. It's about 4 to 6 months of rent. Incredible, great news. Incredible, great news. So where do you get this money for rent? 6 places. Hope you have that pen and paper ready. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Reach out and get that money now. It's about $5,000 for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. Also, you can get money for utilities. Homeowners, you can get money for your mortgage. And homeowners, you can get money for utilities as well. All really incredible, great news. If any information in this video goes too fast, you can always replay it or toggle the reverse button on the bottom of this player. Let's go to the next set of incredible sums of money you can get. And it's SNAP. Boy, SNAP is just incredible. Every day passes and I have another viewer say, thank you, I got rent. Thank you, I got SNAP. But SNAP has been the big hit. And SNAP is about $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Yes, it's incredible. Why is it so much? And what is SNAP? SNAP is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How do you reach Department of Agriculture? Call them up on the phone or also call 211. And so what do they give this? Why is this money so much money for food? Well, it's because of 2 executive orders that end in December cumulatively. That's the Biden and the Trump executive orders that raise your benefits 15%. Everyone gets their benefits raised 15% between now and December. Automatic, incredible, great news. So look how we're doing. We are exactly 10 minutes into this video, and I have already got you $16,000 for food in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent across the country. We aren't done yet. We are just getting started. But here are two reality check moments. First, I want you to get this money because it's first come, first serve. It's not going to be around forever, this rent and utilities. Second, and this is very important, is that when they passed the third stimulus to give you this money for rent and utilities, they wanted you to get it. They didn't want you not to get it. They wanted you to get it because they, who is this? The Democrats. They are getting rid of the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance at the end of the third stimulus. They're not bringing it back on the fourth stimulus. So they want you to get this money so that they can lift those things. So go get it right now. Time for some free money. Time for some automatic money. And I got it for two places for you. First from your state and second from the federal government. All right, first the state. It's exciting. One viewer is getting $5,000 for this. So what is it? How are you going to get it? And when you're going to get it? Let me go over all the details. First, what is it? It's thousands of dollars in one case viewer, $5,000 being returned to recipients of unemployment benefits who got an excess payment at one time and was asked to return it to no fault of their own. The federal government has stepped in and said some states had overpaid you unemployment benefits due to a computer malfeasance and then ordered you to return the money back to them, which you did. The federal government says that was an error. You should not have had to do that. And now the federal government says that's your money and the states have to return it to you. Wow. So the next question is, how are you going to get it? In the bank account that you have on file with your unemployment department. Just watch that bank account. Finally, when? Every state is different, so they all have different routing times. Some states have started, some states have not. All right, let's go to the other great, exciting, big money return, and this comes from the federal government. IRS and Treasury, one viewer has gotten $2,000 on this. First, let's go over what it is, then how you're going to get it, and then when you're going to get it. First, what is this? This is the returning back to you of the taxes you paid on your unemployment benefits to IRS. So let's say you had a $9,000 unemployment benefits last year. You paid IRS taxes, and in paying IRS taxes, your total tax bill is $5,000, but $4,000 of that was taxes on your unemployment benefits. You're getting back $4,000. Incredible, great news. Incredible, great news across the board. Which then brings me to how are you going to get it? In the mail. In the mail. The mailbox. Yeah, the old-fashioned thing. That mailbox on the street, not the email, the mailbox. So you're going to see a beige or white envelope. Inside is going to be a beige check that's from Department of Treasury or IRS, written to you, says refund. So go get it. In a rare circumstance, it'll come by direct deposit if that's listed on your bank account. Finally, when? IRS has identified 3 stages, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. All 3 stages are done by the end of May, but stage 1 is wrapping up this week, stage 2 continues into next week, and stage 3 is the end of next week. So what's stage 1? Single filers, nothing else on the return, no dependents, no other refunds. Stage 2 are complex individual returns, and stage 3 are joint filers, like husband and wife. Incredible, great news. So there you go. I think it's time for some incredible breaking, developing details, and let's get to it right now. Let's start with Jalapal. When Jalapal wrote that House bill providing for monthly stimulus checks, Jalapal had over 100 plus House Democrats on top of those dozen or so Senate Democrats who wrote the president and said, here's Jalapal's bill for multiple stimulus checks. We want you, Mr. President, we want to remind you that we're putting multiple stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package when we write the bill. So there was first Jalapal's bill for the multiple stimulus checks. Then there was the letters in support of Jalapal's action. So what happened with Jalapal this week? Jalapal stepped forward, and Jalapal wrote another letter. And again, this letter was signed by dozens of House members. This letter was written by Jalapal to Nancy and Chuck, Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi. And what is the message? Very simple. Call the vote. What are we waiting for? Call the vote. Stop waiting around. The message is very simple, that the subcommittees are nearly done with the reconciliation bill writing, and that we should just call the vote. Why do we have to wait to the very last minute? Just do it now. More about that incredible great news. That's how the middle of the week heated up. Then at the end of the week, 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee wrote the president a letter. Now, first, the House Ways and Means Committee is the committee that would ever put the multiple stimulus checks in there for purposes of houses, for House members. They can always do multiple stimulus checks, as you know, in the Senate, not in the House, by that vote-a-rama in the final 2 days. But if they were going to put it in at the House level, at the House of Representatives level, it would go in at the House Ways and Means Committee. Well, guess what? The House Ways and Means Committee, 7 members of that very small committee, wrote the president a letter and said, we're putting in multiple stimulus checks. Can you imagine? Wrote that letter today. I mean, do we need Captain Obvious to walk through the set at this point? They wrote the letter, and not only did they write the letter, their letter was then picked up by broadcast media and print media, which then said, this is just sort of a continuation of the same narrative, citing the broadcast media, citing Jalapal's bill, the letter in support of Jalapal's bill, the Senate letters in support of multiple stimulus checks, and it just sort of snowballed one after another. Incredible, great news. So it's so significant that this is coming from the people who would actually put it in there. And it's also coming with media coverage where they're covering all the other times that the president has been instructed that the legislators who actually write the bill, not the president, are putting it in there. Finally, the last breaking detail, which happened late yesterday, was the president said, okay, I've been holding a $2.3 trillion offer for the fourth stimulus package. I'll come down $600 billion. How did he come down $600 billion? Just by saying, I made a mistake. I'm double counting. Some of that money is in other bills, so we don't need to put it there. So not much of a concession. And this comes after the Republicans have been meeting with the president every single day and not changing on their amount. So what's going on? The president has made very clear to his inner circle and to even the legislators that he will continue to have these luncheons every day with the Republicans until Memorial Day, which is the end of May. And then he'll just stop. And then the vote will occur. Why? Because he wants the optics to show that he's trying his best efforts. And yes, every luncheon may have delicious food, but has no more progress on negotiations. The Republicans have been at the same dollar figure, $500 billion, since day one, and have not moved a dollar. And ironically, the president has not moved a dollar either. So there you go. So could the vote occur earlier than July? Let me go over the details, and let me go over the reaction. That is very rare. It's very rare for legislators to come forward and talk about what they're doing during the process. They usually talk about it at the very end. But the legislators came forward this week and said, we just don't want to wait around anymore. Call the vote. So Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat of New York, said, when asked, should they wait around anymore, Democrats? Absolutely not. Because Democrats may lose our coalition for human infrastructure. I do not think the White House should relegate the recovery to the judgment of Mitch McConnell, because he will not function in good faith. So I just think it's a terrible political misstep. Then Ruben Galejo, Democrat out of Arizona, said, Republicans are not even being players. They should just move on. We should just move on, Democrats, without them. And then came more similar statements as well from Mark Ponkan, who is a Democrat from Wisconsin, who said, at what point do Republicans seriously come to the table? If Republicans don't come to the table, it doesn't mean Democrats don't serve the meal. And then finally, Senator Majority Whip Dick Durbin said, Democrats ought to have a timely negotiation with the Republicans, but we also have to be ready to finish the reconciliation. Amen. And then finally, Ro Khanna, who is a Democrat from California, said, I think we should move forward on our bill. I think that's about as blunt as can be. So there you go. What the president's basically going to do is he's going to have these luncheons from now through up to Memorial Day weekend, which is the end of May. Sorry, he'll have these luncheons up to the end of Memorial Day weekend, and then stop, and then the voting will start. There have been no concessions, and now we have 2 proposals, Senate and House, with hundreds of legislators on both sides saying we're putting it in there. Incredible, great news. But guess what? I still have another surprise for you. Yes, there's a surprise about something else that may show up in the fourth stimulus, which I never expected would be coming back. Oh boy, what's coming back? Not Welcome Back Carter, but something else. But guess what? In the second half of this video, we'll be going over fifth stimulus in just a second. But if you need help with rent, mortgage assistance, a homeowner's utilities, or any type of utilities or free internet, reach out to the volunteers. They're on the community page. They're viewers just like you. Where's the community page? It's in the description to this video. Open the description, Go down and see an emoji of a house, and then it says community page. Click that, and it sends you to the community page. news.lalate.com/community. It has a picture of some cute cats at the top of the page. Throughout the page are the volunteers. Reach out to them and ask them for assistance if you cannot find it. And guess what? I'm back with you in 60 seconds. Stay with me. Big exciting news still coming up after this commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Saturday afternoons LALATE with exciting, great details still unfolding about your multiple fourth stimulus checks. The fourth stimulus check update continues in the second half of this recording with also big details about this stimulus. But first, subscribe. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel. I want you to subscribe and become part of this channel, live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. And coming up after this show is Evenings LALATE, the big hit show in about 2 hours from now. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. Let's head to 1 million. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. All right, let's get to the remainder of the excitement which heats up this fall, and its fifth stimulus package. Fifth stimulus would provide incredible relief by doing SSI and SSDI reform. Let's go over the details of that in this recording. First, they'll raise your benefit limits, remove the asset cap, add an inflationary benchmark, then remove the income exclusion and remove the marriage penalty. All right, let's go over those details and also go over the breaking news that impacts them across the board. First, how are they going to do this? They're going to raise up your benefits across the board. So if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or multiple types of benefits, they'll raise them up to a big new number. That would be a big new number going forward. Then they're going to tie your benefits to inflation. Now, tying the benefits to inflation, called a new benchmark, what does that mean? It means every December you get a letter saying next year your benefits are going to go up $5 or $10. What are they going off of? The benchmark. Well, the benchmark this time will be inflation. And the big question mark we're going to have all the way up until the final vote for fifth stimulus is what is the inflation rate going to be in December? And we're trying to gauge it because initially we were told 2.5%, 2% from the Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary as well. But people aren't believing it's going to be that. They think it's going to be a lot higher. And we heard from the Federal Reserve Chair of Atlanta that said the growth rate will nearly go up 250% between now and then. He has it currently at 4%, expecting to go to 10.5% by December. Then we had all these analysts, economists this week saying, it's not going to be 2, it may be 4 to 6. We had one a week ago saying it was going to be 20%. So more analysts are now really coming in somewhere in the 5 to 7% range, which is great news for you because this is how it would work. First, they would raise your benefits up across the board. Then they would attach the benchmark. So the benchmark would trigger a lift of your benefits next year. And by all accounts, we're looking like we may have a 5 to 7% inflation rate in December. That would raise your benefits up a lifetime for that amount. It's incredible, great news. Then every year after that, you would never step down. You would either stay the same or go up. Wow. So let's turn to the other items under fifth stimulus. Asset allocation. So you'll be able to keep more money on hand than currently, which is currently limited to $3,000 for most of you due to a 1980s law, which they're going to get rid of. Then the income exclusion. They're going to get rid of that one. That's dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also work. So they're going to get rid of that one. So you can go work $1,000, $2,000 a month and still stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty. They're going to get rid of that. So if you want to get married, you can. People have not gotten married for fear of losing benefits. Now love will win and love will conquer, where you can get married and not lose benefits. And for those currently married, will have their benefits restored. Incredible, great news. So let's circle back and go over fourth stimulus and the surprising detail that's also unfolding about what is and isn't in fourth stimulus. Now, when we look at fourth stimulus, it's important to understand that now we have the Jalopal letter to Nancy and Chuck saying, call the vote, stop waiting around. We have the House and Senate letters, hundreds of them, saying that they're going to put multiple stimulus checks in there. And now we have the House Ways and Means subcommittee members writing a letter saying they're putting it in there. So is there another surprise? Well, the question is whether the vote could happen in June. We really don't know if it would happen in June. Leader and Speaker Pelosi and Schumer say no later than July 4th would be the vote. So here's what's important to understand is that they generally like to get out of town. So they may possibly do the vote in June because they just, for their own personal interests, they don't want to be stuck around to July 3rd or July 1st or whatever day of the week it is. They rather get it done earlier. And if they get done in the month of June, you could potentially have another stimulus check. That's incredible, great news. Also, it's important that for those of you who are not members to at least subscribe, because it's important to delineate and understand that there are multiple stimulus packages all happening at the same time. There is always some person who's very confused who gets in the comments and says, in July, the check that's coming is for the children. Yeah, but that's from the third stimulus. That's not this video. Yes, there's a lot of things happening in July. The third stimulus checks from the child credit, does come in July. That's not fourth stimulus. That's third stimulus. Also in July, there's a budget bill that you're going to hear the Democrats do. That's not this bill either. So there's a lot of bills. And because it's nearly the end of the session before the recess, you're going to see a lot of bills called for a vote at the same time. So don't get confused. Understand that it's this. Even Jalopal has a lot of bills, so don't get confused by that as well. Next thing to important to understand is that the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance and rental stimulus from third stimulus is going away. There's no indication yet for the Democrats it's coming back. But I do have exciting great news for you on the other side. There is the potential that certain federal unemployment benefits could come back under fourth stimulus. Oh yeah, this is a bombshell. So we had never thought that any of these unemployment benefits would continue another day under the fourth stimulus. But that same letter for the House Ways and Means Committee said they want unemployment stimulus to continue under fourth stimulus. Wow. Now this is huge. Now here's what you need to know is that FPUC is voluntary for states. So the reason why states have opted out of doing FPUC is because it's voluntary. They don't have to do it. But in the case of PEUC or PUA, the federal government may have different guidelines for that, where they may require states to disperse that money to citizens if they want to have it, where the federal government is the bank for providing the money. So that is far from over, but this is very exciting news that we saw for the first time late on Friday, that certain unemployment benefits may get extended under the fourth stimulus that we thought were going to go away. Remember, PUA also has a standalone bill for Ron Wyden that would create a federal institution that would continue PUA lifetime after the pandemic's over. So very exciting, great news. But the big exciting, great news always comes back to the mindset. The mindset is that fourth stimulus, multiple stimulus checks are needed because you are behind on your bills. And this is the best way to get people caught up on their bills. There are people getting back to work that are working 40-hour weeks now. Husband and wife, both working 40-hour weeks. And yet they're still behind on their bills and will not get caught up on their bills no matter how much they work because of the pandemic. And Congress is very attentive to that. So is the president. That the purpose of stimulus checks is to get people caught up on their bills. That is why Even governors who are Republicans who are ending FPUC say, here's also a stimulus check from our state because we believe you are not caught up on your bills and we want you to get caught up on your bills. And with that, I also want you to get caught up on the news because I got other breaking news you're not hearing in this recording that is going to be new on Evenings LA coming up tonight in just 2 hours from now. So join me on that show. It's coming up in 2 hours from now. Evenings LA. Then Late Night Crypto, our hit show. Last night we went over the crypto crash, number 2, because there's been 2 already. And then after that is our new blockbuster. It was a blockbuster last night, overnight show. Crypto Live, which is a 10-hour show with live charts, live stream, live chat, and more. 10-hour show, and it was an absolute blockbuster last night on viewership. So make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers heading to 1 million. Also like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful afternoon. I'll see you in 2 hours from now. Don't forget to vote in the comments if you didn't already. House or Senate, and say where you're from and how the weather is. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.